Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. I appreciated Senator King's comments talking about small arms and the need for modernization and the fact that our 5.56 doesn't penetrate Russian body armor. I think that was a really important point that was brought out at my subcommittee hearing, and one of the reasons I think many of us will agree the need to prioritize small arms modernization in this year's NDAA. So General Milley, once the Army does settle on a caliber, then would you rather have something that could be specifically built for our infantry forces and the Army at large, or would you accept something that could be purchased off the shelf?
I don't know that the two of those are mutually exclusive. There are systems out there today on the shelf that, with some very minor modifications, could be adapted to munitions that we're developing at Fort Benning that could be used to penetrate these sappy plates that our adversaries are developing. Mm-hmm. So there's it's not necessarily an either-or proposition on that one. I think there's weapons out there that we can get in the right caliber that can enhance the capability of the infantry soldier.
That's good, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think there could be some potential savings if we are looking at systems that could be modified, taken off the shelf, and used for our soldiers. I think that would be something that would be very beneficial to our forces. Retired General Scales testified at that subcommittee hearing, and he spoke about a weapon that could fill the role of both the machine gun and the rifle, a light machine gun and the basic rifle. So is the need for the machine gun, would that be a higher priority than that of just a basic rifle? Or would they be at the same level of priority?
No, I mean, they're both very important. They complement each other. I think what he's talking about is what the Marines are adopting as the M27. Mm-hmm. We're taking a hard look at that and probably going to go in that direction as well, but we haven't made a final decision on it. But you know, infantry squads, infantry platoons, they got to have an automatic weapon for suppression. They've got to have the individual weapon as well. So you need both. It's not one or the other. You have to have both in order to be effective in ground combat.
Absolutely. Thank you, General, very much. Today I'm introducing a bill with Senator Gillibrand that would require each branch of the military to educate service members on sexual assault prevention before they actually leave for boot camp. And if they choose to do the delayed entry program, which many of our young men and women do. The bill also states that those classes should be conducted in person and cover the proper use of social media. So we would actually have a live human being standing in front of those young men and women presenting that class, rather than taking a computer course or just reviewing PowerPoint slides on their own. Sexual assault really is a societal problem, and we really do need to have continuous education on that, and we do that once we have members in the service. But we really do need to start as soon as possible. And what more can we do to curb military sexual assault in the Army?
Well, Senator, I think we are doing a lot, and we're continuing to adapt more. One, we're working with private-public partnerships with folks like within the national colleges. I think you may have heard already from Bob Caslin at West Point.
Absolutely.
Doing the same thing through the TRADOC schools. I saw something I was very excited about. I know you talk about personal people in terms of teaching, but I saw some very immersive type leader training using synthetic training environments, providing very real individuals who provide input through those systems of their life story and how to combat, how they respond and what happened to them. So there's a lot of things across, but either through individual training incorporating into the schoolhouses that we continually try to educate leaders on how to handle, to educate individuals that they need to come forth and provide that they've been assaulted or harassed. But anything that we find is useful and it improves the situation is definitely welcome to look at.
Yeah, very good. I'm glad to hear that. I just think there is more that we can do. The point is to prevent the problem before it ever happens. And so that's the intent of this bill, is to get the message out before they even enter into the service. And I've often thought that it should be one of their peers rather than like the old lady of the battalion standing in front of them and lecturing them. Just having that human face-to-face contact, I think, will be very important in moving this forward. So thank you, gentlemen, very much for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.